Hey, Toto.
Hey, what?
We're not in the Two Rivers anymore.
Hey there, nomads of lore. Hey there, hey there, nomads of lore.
Spoiler filled for books 1 and 2. Yeah.
We gotta kill him.
Where's the one power when you need it?
Exactly. We're gonna kill this fly. And he's gone. As soon as we start talking again, he's gonna come back.
Probably.
Okay, ready? Let's do it real fast.
Yeah.
Real fast. Okay, ready?
Hey there, nomads of lore.
Okay. Okay. Hey there, nomads of lore. I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Sean.
And we are Mead and Mischief, your home away from no home. Today we're going to be killing a freaking fly. Did you get him?
No, he was way over there by the time I did anything.
Like, when you see this, I know you're not going to see this part, but when you see this, we've done this like 5 times now, and it's probably going to be 10 by the time we actually get it done. Okay. Hey there, nomads of lore. I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Sean.
And we are Mead and Mischief, your home away from no home. Today we're going to be discussing Book 2 of The Wheel of Time, The Great Hunt.
So the only thing we're going to talk about that is spoiler free for this book and probably the rest of the Wheel of Time series is that, in our opinion, for this book 2, if you read book 1 and you liked it, at least sort of, and even if you're maybe a little bit on the fence and you didn't love it, it is our opinion that book 2 is definitely worth reading. We both liked it better than book 1. I definitely liked it a lot more. Yeah. I thought it was really, really good compared to the first one. And so, in our opinion, if you even kind of sort of liked book 1, book 2 is worth reading. At this point, everything else will be spoiler filled for books 1 and 2. So if you haven't read it yet and you're concerned about spoilers, I'd click off right now.
Yep. Click pause.
Yep.
Okay, so to start with, we're going to do a quick summary. Well, quick-ish.
Quick as we can.
Summary. Yeah, because this is a long book. But we're going to do a quick outline of the plot and kind of give you all the high points of it so that we can just review that. And then we'll do our pros and our cons, the things we liked, the things we disliked, and then we'll do our final thoughts to wrap it all up.
Mm-hmm. So, as all of the Wheel of Time books do, or at least all the ones I've read so far, our story begins with a prologue. And in this prologue, we see Baal-Zaman talking to a bunch of dark friends, including a couple of Aes Sedai. Uh-oh. Scary things are happening. Oh, no. Mm-hmm. And so then we'd go through the prologue, which I'm sure is like 2 hours worth of audiobook listening, or like 100 pages, because that's how Robert Jordan rolls. So we go through all that, but that's the key bit. And the story actually begins in Faldara, where the end of the last book took place, and all the epic light umbilical cord battle stuff happening goes on, whatever. I don't know. It's the picture in my brain. He was connected to a thing. I don't know. But whatever happened there, we end up in Faldara again. Rand's there, and the whole crew is there. Padan Fain is imprisoned there and has gone nutso. He's pretty nutso in the last book, but he's obviously very messed up and crazy, and who knows, he seems to be influenced by something from Shadar Logoth along with others. I don't know.
Yeah.
Crazy. He's locked up. Egwene wants to try to take care of him or whatever, and all that stuff. But the Amerlin Seat herself, Swan Sanche, the Amerlin Seat, it was the head of the Aes Sedai and the White Tower, and she shows up, which was a surprise. They expected some more Aes Sedai, but they didn't expect the Amerlin Seat herself. So she shows up and meets with Rand and tells him, "You're the Dragon Reborn."
I want to cut in there because it's so funny because you've expressed this before that it's hilarious that these people, all these kids are so anti like the fact that they're supposed to be somebody special.
Oh yeah,
and he still is running from his. He's like, oh heck no, I'm not staying around because this lady's gonna do something bad to me, and.
Yeah,
it's
don't trust
hilarious.
her.
Yeah,
still don't trust Moraine.
So that scene is just hilarious because he's like running through trying to find a way out. And he goes into like the girls' dorm kind of thing, and anyway.
Hiding it is hilarious.
And then finally they catch him and they drag him in front of her, and she's super friendly because that's what she is. So.
She's right now. She's one of my favorite side characters. We'll see. A lot happens with her, but that's spoilers for later. And but anyway, so he's like, no, I'm not. And she's like, yes, you are. And whatever. And then he's like, okay, well, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I don't know, but I'm running away. I'm getting out of here. I'm leaving. Bye. And then he discovers, I can't leave. They've gotten me locked in. I'm stuck. How can I escape? And so then all this crazy stuff happens, and Trollocs show up, and bad guys show up, and it looks like they're trying to kill the Amerlin. And it turns out, no, they were actually, that was just a ruse in order to get Padon Fane to escape. And so he escapes, and he takes the Horn of Valir, which was there, and the dagger that Matt had, that he was still being controlled by or cursed by or whatever you want to call it. And so Matt is now in a really bad way. The Dark Friends, including Padon Fane, have all run off, and the dagger and the horn are all gone, and everybody's like, oh crap, this is going to be a bad deal.
So Matt is in a bad way, as Sean would say. His conditions is worsening. Because of the dagger, and so and so the party decides they got to split up. Rand, Matt, and Perrin, and a character named Ingtar, and some Shienarans all go on a quest to find the horn and the dagger, while Nynaeve and Egwene and Moraine head to the White Tower to start their training. And so they get to the White Tower. And Min and Elaine are there, characters we've already seen. But they all get together and they're all happy to see each other and all that kind of girly stuff. And Elaine and Egwene are both named novices. And then Nynaeve, because she's
Novice is the lowest rank.
Yeah, Novice is the lowest rank, yeah. So Nynaeve is kind of the middle rank, which is accepted. She's put there because she has advanced skill and her age is a little older. Funny thing is, of course, is that her skill is dependent on her braid pulling, at this point at least. Yeah. So that's what happens, and then we go back to the boys.
So the boys are on the road looking for the horn and the dagger. I don't know if you said Ingtar was like the king, right, of the Shienarans, right? That was his, or he was the Lord of the Army or something.
He's like Lord of the Army, I think.
Or something. Yeah. He was the boss king, man.
Yeah, he was.
But anyway, so they're with them, and they're on the road, and they're chasing after Padon Fane, and so Rand and Loyal and Huron, they're kind of at one evening, their bed down space, or what, their sleeping bag or whatever, however that works in their world. They lay down pretty close to each other, and Rand decides he needs a pillow, and so rocks, and so he lays his head on a rock, and so he lays his head on a rock. They all fall asleep, and then the three of them wake up, and nobody else is there. Everything looks a little different, and it's like, okay, what has happened? And Rand's like, oh crap, I must have channeled in my sleep somehow, and now we're who knows where and what is happening. And so they start looking around, and this crazy weird beast, I don't even remember what it's called, attacks them. I was picturing some strange frog looking thing. I don't remember what it was called, but some crazy beast that's kind of like almost a Trolloc, but not. I don't know. This thing attacks them. Also, while there, Rand meets Balsamon. He doesn't know if it's in a dream or what, but he comes face to face with burning, flaming eye man, and it's scary and intense. And importantly, for prophecy and the story, Rand gets herons branded into his hands, on his palms, and so it's one sign that he's the dragon reborn, which
the marking that's on his sword.
Yes,
and that's where it comes from.
Yes. And then this beautiful woman shows up, and
Selene.
Yeah, Selene is how she introduces herself at that time, and she eats them, and the boys, of course, except for Loyal, I guess, Rand and Huron are both like, "Oh my gosh, you're beautiful! I want to marry you.
I'll do everything for you. Anything you want.
Anything you want." And it's like, okay, ominous. Something bad is happening. Whatever else. This woman is she's probably not good.
No.
Anytime in a story when the men are like, "Oh my gosh, you're amazing," she's probably bad. Anyway, so they talk to her, and she starts talking to Rand, and it's like, okay, I know where you've come through a portal stone, and I'm a scholar from the University of Kyrian or somewhere, I think. Kyrian, I think. And I'm a scholar, and I know about all this stuff, and I got stuck here, and we're in this.
I need your help.
Yeah, I need your help. Yeah. So I know where I need you to channel. And so I don't remember what.
She takes him off to another portal stone.
Yeah, and she figures out that. So Rand's like, so she's like, "You got a channel," and Rand's like, "I don't know. You got a channel. I don't know." And then eventually he channels. I think he does finally channel into the stone, and
they pop back in.
Yeah,
but they're ahead of the gang.
Yes, they are ahead. They're already.
They've been chasing the Trollocs and everybody that have the horn with Pot and Fane.
Yeah,
and so they were behind them. Now the three of them are ahead of them.
Yeah,
and of course the others wake up and
so they end up sneaking into the camp and discovering while they're asleep or something, and They get Loyal grabs the chest with all the stuff in it, and they escape, and they RUNNOFT little "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" reference.
That's right.
But anyway, they get the dagger and the horns. Like, hey, great, we got the things. And Ingtar is still way back, and his people, they're way back, and they're like, oh my gosh, where'd they go? What is happening? And yeah, they end up deciding to go to Kyrian because they're like, well, the only way through is forward.
Yep. So now in Kyrian, Rand finds Tom Merrilin.
Yay.
He's still alive. Yeah.
Gandalf resurrection.
That's right. That's right. That's funny. So they get into this Illuminator's chapter house thing, and they're
fireworks.
There's Rand and Loyal all of a sudden find out that there's Trollocs chasing them. Trollocs again coming in, and so they're like, oh crap. And luckily there's some fireworks, bombs, things, and of course they get out of it because of that. So they blow everything up and it creates a distraction, diversion, whatever. They get out. Unfortunately, Tom's lover girl gets murdered, killed during this part. And then just because he was hanging out with Rand. Because of Rand, and so he's a little bit frustrated, but he's loyal. no pun intended. He's loyal to Rand. So anyway,
So rewind back to our other party with Ingtar and Perrin and them. So we forgot to mention that Huron, he can't channel or anything, but he has a special ability. And that is that he is a sniffer. He can smell death and destruction, evil, which sounds like a terrible ability to me. But so basically that's how they were tracking Pot on Fane and the Trollocs, because he can basically smell Trollocs because they're evil. And so since Huron is gone and with the Portal Stone with Rand and Loyal, they don't have that ability anymore. And so Perrin's like, oh crap. So I can track them, but I have to use my connection with wolves, and I don't really want to do that because they're still.
I don't want everybody to know, and
Yeah.
I'm self-aware about it.
Yeah, and they're still him-hawing around about whatever.
I'm not anybody special. I don't want to be anybody special.
All the various reasons why Jordan has people afraid to do things.
Maybe Matt and Rand know about women because I sure don't.
Yeah, that only gets repeated about 500 times. But anyway, so he's like, well, this is really important. And so he goes and he tells just Ingtar that he has this connection with wolves. And so he can basically talk to wolves telepathically and
Telepathically.
Telepathetic. Anyway, he can talk to wolves, which is super cool, and I would be excited, but apparently he's not. But he tells Ingtar, and Ingtar's like, oh, okay, I'm fine with that. That sounds really cool. But the men might be a little iffy about it. So let's say that you are like Huron and you're a sniffer too.
Yeah.
So Perrin uses that ability reluctantly, and they track and they end up finding Rand and his mini party there. And so they're like, okay, we know that Podon Fane is at Tomon Head. I think doesn't he leave him a note or something says this is where I'm going to meet you and eat your liver or something. I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. And so they're like, okay, we got to go to Tomon Head. We got to hurry because we got to get this taken care of. Matt's continuing to struggle. We're running out of time. Mm-hmm. And so Rand's like, okay, I don't really want to do this, but let's use the portal stone. I'm going to channel because I did it before and I can do it again. And let's use this portal stone. So they go and he tries to use it, but it backfires and they end up losing tons of time and they just get in a worse and worse pickle.
Yep. So back with the girls, Leandrin kind of lures the girls back. She's like, Rand's in a bad. She's right? Leandrin Sedai. Yep. Yeah. She's like, Rand's in a bad way, and you need to go save him or whatever. And so the girls are like, we gotta go, and so they kind of sneak out of the White Tower and run towards Tommen Head. Well, the problem is they get captured. No, not all of them. Just Egwene and Min. Yeah. And then Egwene, because she's an Aes Sedai, or because she has power, because she can channel, she gets put on what is called an Idom. And then she has someone who is controlling the Idom. So the Idom is basically a collar, and it's got a leash, and then a person on the other end that can stop the person on the collar from channeling, and it actually hurts them when they channel. And so she gets kind of tortured, and it's pretty crazy and horrible. The whole idea and the scene is really really cool, but it's pretty sad. She gets kind of messed up pretty bad. And so finally Nynaeve and Elaine finally figure out where she's at and go in and save her and save Min. And
one of the first times Nynaeve really shines, you get to see some of her power a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool.
Yeah, Nynaeve is awesome. She just got to get rid of the braid somehow. And she'll be great. Anyway, So then the girls, they flee the city. On a boat. That's right.
So the guys are still stuck in the port city of Falma. And they are in this inn or whatever. And at some point, Rand is confronted by a blade master, Turok something. I don't remember his name. But anyway, he's confronted by a real blade master. And so if you remember, blade masters carry heron-marked swords, which is what Rand has been carrying that he got from his dad. And so Rand's like, oh crap, this is a real blade master. He's gonna kill me. I've been training with Lan, but I mean, come on now. I've been training for a few weeks. And so, but wonder of wonders, Rand ends up being able to barely defeat the Blade Master. And so he with his heron marked sword. And so he kills him, and that he ends up being able to recover the horn and the dagger at that point. And so Rand is able to escape with the horn and the dagger. So they're escaping and they're, okay, we're going to make it and it's going to be great. And then, big surprise, big shocker to me, Ingtar, who has been a pretty cool character up to this point, reveals in a moment of conflicted emotion, and he just kind of starts talking to himself and starts acting bonkers a little bit. He reveals that he is, in fact, a dark friend, and he's been manipulating them the whole time. Yep. And so he has all this stuff, but then he is able to redeem himself, even though he's been manipulating them this whole time. He redeems himself, and he stands up to the other dark friends, and he ends up sacrificing himself to allow the others to escape.
So then the White Cloaks attack, and our heroes are stuck. Out of the frying pan in the fire. Mm-hmm. Our heroes are stuck in between the White Cloaks and the Shan-Chan. Mm-hmm. The Shan-Chan are these people that have the eye-doms and all the craziness. Mm-hmm. And so they're stuck in the middle, and they're like, oh, crap, we're definitely dead at this point. Mm-hmm. In a moment of desperation, finally, Matt decides
to do something useful.
And blows the horn of Valir. And so when he does that, they are joined by a bunch of dead old heroes, like basically come back to life as ghosts or something. I don't even know. They come back and they help him. Mm-hmm. And they're kind of under his control, basically. Like he's able to tell them what to do. He's their
leader.
And so Arthur Hawkwing is in there, and Birgitta Silverbow. And there's some other cools. Mm-hmm. Other cool characters. Other cool characters. Yeah. And so because
and
of
their dialogue is hilarious too.
It is funny. So because of that help, they're able to kind of push through the Shan-Chan and flee, or not flee. Throey're able to fight through the Shan-Chan.
During this battle, Rand, there's all this fog and stuff happening, and he's kind of lost and whatever. With the people, Rand finds himself in a duel with Baalzamon again. And he's fighting Baalzamon again, and he defeats Baalzamon again because he does. And it's crazy. And what?
Well, it's a battle in the sky.
Yeah. Well, and so unbeknownst to him, well, he does. I guess he does see the battle, so it's not. Yeah, right. I was thinking it was unbeknownst, but then as you said, it wasn't. So he looks down and he sees all this other battle happening. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm up here on
I'm
something.
Up in the sky.
and so it's project, and basically everybody down there can see this massive duel happening between Rand and Baalzamon, and they see Rand defeat Baalzamon. And so at this point, Rand's like, oh crap. So
everybody
I promise I'm not the Dragon Reborn. Well, maybe I am. And so he I think Moraine convinces him, but he tells everybody, okay, I am the Dragon Reborn. I can't get out of it anymore. I can't deny it to anybody, including myself. Yep. That's me. And pretty much, and there's a little bit of cleanup, but that's pretty much the book. That's your plot summary.
Your 17-minute plot summary.
Yeah.
So if you've stayed this long, we're excited to now tell you some of our pros and cons that we liked, enjoyed, disliked. Some of them we've already talked about, but yeah.
Absolutely.
Start there. All right, to start with our pros, first of all, we really like the pacing at the beginning of the book compared to the last one. The last one, the last one, but is the first book. It's a really good book, but the pacing is pretty slow. Very little things are happening, but very little is actually happening that is exciting, I guess, for the first big chunk. But in this book, it's just a lot more action-packed, and it's very good. So that's our first pro.
The second pro that we had, the second thing we liked, was in this book you learn so much more about Tarvalin and about the Aes Sedai in general, and which is super cool because all of their stuff we learn more and more throughout the series. But in the first book we know nothing. I mean, we know that they are scary witches, which they're not, but that's what the people in Two Rivers thought. They're scary people that things happen to. And in this book we get to see more of the inner politics. I particularly liked. I already mentioned Swan Sanche, the Amerlin. I loved her character. It was super fun. I liked. It was really cool to see her and Moraine's dynamic. Them. There's obviously been plotting a lot of stuff for a long time.
Been friends
for a long time. And I like the politics and I like the way she works. She was a cool character.
So then the third thing that we really liked was the whole portal stone thing was very unique, and the idea of jumping between two worlds and being able to move and kind of go forward and backward in time and all these things. And of course the little bit of Selene that was thrown in there, this scariness that you're not quite sure of. She's beautiful, but eventually ends up being Lanfear, as we know. And so, we really like those parts.
So our fourth pro was the Ingtar reveal. Ingtar reveal is the Dark Friend. Jonathan and I talked pretty close to when I finished that book. I tend to be pretty intuitive when I read stuff and watch things. I tend to see things coming a lot of time. I didn't see that one coming at all. That one came out of nowhere, and it was a cool surprise. And it was neat that he did get to have a redemptive moment.
Because he was a character you really liked and enjoyed before then. You're like, no, he's bad? What?
Yeah. Well, and there was also his weird dialogue, like I mentioned before, like he almost goes bonkers for a minute, and which is a recurring theme in these books of men going insane and acting stupid. But anyway, that was pretty cool for sure.
Last but not least, the obviously the end, the Tom and Head battle is just awesome. Seeing Rand up in the sky and finally deciding that, okay, maybe I'm the Dragon Reborn. Right. I have all this power and nobody else can do this kind of stuff. So
I've got brands on my hand.
I've got brands of Heron and all kinds of craziness. So that was really cool. The scene with Matt blowing the horn and all these people coming back and helping them fight was really cool.
Absolutely.
There's so many cool parts about this book. The another part that we don't even have on our list, but that I loved was the Shanchen people and the Idoms and all the things. I didn't like that they tortured her or any of that kind of thing, but just it was different. It was different to see. Yeah, it was fascinating to see this Idom that can control, and then the hilarious turn of events that when you realize that the people that are on the controlling end, their whole world is revolving around, if you can channel, you need to be on the other end of this thing. But what's really funny is you have to be able to channel to put someone else on the other end. And so
it's crazy.
It was super awesome. So now we'll do our least favorite things about this book. There's not many, but there are a few things that we didn't like.
So we kind of struggled to come up with cons. I think that's partially because it's been a little while since I read this book and even longer from Jonathan. So we may have been able to come up with more nitpicky cons if we had been closer, maybe. But it was just a lot better book, and so the cons were tough. The first con, which is probably going to be a con of every single book in this series, in some way, shape, or form, is that whereas there's more happening, especially early on, and then the ending battle. Robert Jordan's wonderful at writing these epic, huge battle things. That's great. And then there's this big buildup, but then there's this chunk at the end or in the kind of late middle where it is a lot slower and it does drag a little more. I said in our review of the first book that that book could have been shorter, and the same thing is true with this one. I mean, you could have written a shorter book and it probably would have been just as good, if not better.
Yeah, I agree. So second thing that we didn't really like is the plot convenience of the fireworks and bombs just sitting in.
This one's a real stretch.
Yeah.
It's a fun scene. But.
Yeah, it is a fun scene. It's just kind of just convenient that there's just some fireworks so they can blow everything up and get out. Yeah. So it's not a huge one, and by far that's, I mean, like we said, we're having to nitpick little tiny things because we can't really remember any big bad things about this book. It's a really good book.
So our last con that we're going to talk about is probably the only one that both of us were like, okay, this one really did feel like a con. And it felt like, I remember when I read this scene or listened to it, still doing Audible, just because it's more convenient with life right now. But is the whole Blade Master scene. Like we had very little evidence up until that point that Rand was any kind of swordsman. And this Blade Master was a Blade Master. You know, the repetitive words are repetitive. But
to tie into something else we talk a lot about, it's like Anakin Skywalker at his peak fighting an apprentice who's been training for quite a while. It's like Anakin versus Ahsoka in her early stages.
Right.
Where it would have been... It should have been an easy, just swatting aside, but it wasn't, and it just seemed a little almost convenient that he was able to defeat him.
Yeah, just all of a sudden able to.
Yeah. So those are the worst things we could come up with, and maybe you have some other ones. You should put them down in the description for sure. Things you loved about the book, you should definitely put in the description. If you have any thoughts or things that you liked or didn't like about the video, or things we should do or change, if you have any ideas of lore we could talk about, anything you want to comment about, we would love to hear from you guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you for watching. We hope you learned something today. If you liked it, thumbs up. If you disliked it, thumbs down. Leave a comment in the description. Like I said, please subscribe and ring the bell.
Yeah.
And we'll get you some content as quick as we can. We're loving putting these videos out. Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Adios.